Hi, and welcome to Fantasy Corner. I'm John Wolf, and this is my co-host, Casey Groff. We're back with our Week 9 waiver wire pickups of the week. And since it's also Halloween this weekend, we'll have some treats for you, which you can pick up off the waiver wire. Let's get started. At the quarterback position, we have Alex Smith of the Kansas City Chiefs. Smith is a game manager, so don't look for him to put up more than 250 yards. He had 226 yards passing and no touchdowns last week against the St. Louis Rams, which isn't exactly fantasy friendly, but we do think he has a lot of upside this week. The Chiefs are playing against the New York Jets and their weak secondary.
At running back, we have Lorenzo Taliaferro of the Baltimore Ravens. He had a good game last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, putting up 69 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. He's the number 2 back in Baltimore behind Justin Forsett, so be wary. He will most likely be touchdown dependent. Taliaferro gets most of his action on third downs and in red zone situations. The Ravens play the soft Pittsburgh Steelers run defense on Sunday, so we're hoping for similar production to last week.
At wide receiver, we have Stevie Johnson of the San Francisco 49ers. Coming off their bye week, the 49ers are playing the St. Louis Rams at home. Johnson is more of a role player in the San Francisco offense, with Anquan Boldin and Michael Crabtree occupying the number 1 and 2 spots in their wide receiving core, but has shown good production regardless, with 13 targets, 10 receptions, 132 yards, and 1 touchdown in his last 2 games. He might be worth a shot if you're desperate for a flex or in need of a wide receiver in 3 wide receiver leagues.
At tight end, we have Tim Wright of the New England Patriots. Essentially, Wright is a streamable tight end with a matchup against the Denver Broncos this week. He has scored in each of his last 3 games though, and put up a 7-catch, 61-yard outing with a touchdown last week against the Chicago Bears. I'm hoping this game will be a shootout, which will make Wright a more desirable option if you're without a tight end this week.
Last but not least, let's talk kickers and defense. We have 2 kickers this week, and I've got Chandler Catanzaro of the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals look like a solid team with Carson Palmer at the helm, and they could be heading into a favorable matchup in Dallas. We expect both of these offenses to put up some points, so I'm hoping Catanzaro is busy. Moving on to defense, I have the Washington Redskins this week. The fact that they're playing the Vikings is one of the reasons I picked them, and the other being that they came off a huge win against the Cowboys, which they held Dallas at only 17 points and 2 forced fumbles.
Just to spite John, I've chosen Randy Bullock of the Houston Texans. He's kicked 3 field goals in each of his last 2 games, and the Texans are hosting the Eagles this week. He's actually put up some real numbers, unlike Catanzaro, and if this turns out to be a high-scoring game like I expect it to be, Bullock should continue to produce at a high level.
That's all for this week's picks. We hope they're treats in your leagues and your games this weekend. Remember, follow us on Twitter at NFL_FFC, like us on Facebook, look for our weekly videos on YouTube, and subscribe to our weekly podcast on SoundCloud. For Casey Groff, I'm John Wolf, and this is Fantasy Corner, signing off.